When opening Autodesk Inventor, it's important to remember that once you click on the Autodesk Inventor icon, when you double-click it on your computer will start opening Autodesk Inventor. If you continue to double-click on it, if you don't just wait after that first double-click, you're going to open up multiple instances of Autodesk Inventor. That means many windows will open. It will take a very long time for it to load. So double-click Autodesk Inventor icon and wait 1 or 2 minutes for it to come up and load. It takes a very long time to load. Okay, so now that we have Autodesk Inventor open, we're going to create our first file. Autodesk Inventor can create a number of different types of file. The first file that we're going to create is called a part file. The part file has a .ipt extension. That means that the file name, like Mr. Carmody's part, would be Mr. Carmody's part.ipt. So there are 3 ways to create a new file. The first is by hitting Control-N, holding down Control-T and clicking N. The second is to click this button right here up at the top left corner and selecting from this area the standard IPT. The standard IPT is a part file. You could click OK here, but in this case we're going to click Cancel so that I can show you the third way, which is the way that I do it. I go up to the very top of the screen, click the down arrow, and I select Part. Okay, so as the part file is open, you'll see that my ribbon at the top, that's what they refer to, this whole area along the top is the ribbon, has changed. We now have a Sketch tab, which is selected already. We have Get Started, Environments, View, Manage, Tools, Inspect, and Model. The most common problem that people have when they first start using Inventor is that they'll close this area on the left here. Now it looks like I don't have my Explorer bar. So I can go, if I want to open it back up, I can go to View, User Interface, and Browser. So that's the browser bar. I said Explorer. It's the browser bar. Okay, so now that my browser bar is back open, it's very important that it be open. I can go back to my Sketch tab and look at the tools that are available for me to sketch. The first thing that we're going to create in our sketch is a simple rectangle. But it's important that you follow the steps to create the rectangle. We draw first, then we dimension. There are 2 steps to create a rectangle. We make the rectangle, then we dimension it. So let's go ahead and we're going to click on the rectangle tool. We're going to select the 2-point rectangle is selected by default. There are many other different types of rectangles. You can have a 3-point or a 2-point. We're going to select the 2-point. Notice that my cursor changes to be a crosshair. I go to the top, I go to any corner of the rectangle that I want. I click once. I pull my mouse out. I click again, and now I've made my rectangle. The problem is that I don't know how big this rectangle is. It could be 1 inch, it could be 10 inches, it could be 10 feet. I don't know how big it is until I dimension it, thereby telling the program exactly how big this rectangle is. We are going to make a rectangle that is 4 inches by 2 inches. So 4 inches long by 2 inches high. To dimension it, I click on the dimension tool, then I click on the line, I pull the dimension up, click once more to set the dimension. Then I double click the number and I put in how many inches, in this case 4 inches. I type the number 4, then I click the green check mark. You'll notice that now that my rectangle is larger, it goes off of my screen, and this is easily fixed. I go over to the right-hand side here. I click on my zoom tool, which looks like a little magnifying glass. I can click it for zoom all, which means that the screen adjusts to make it so that everything on my screen fits on the screen. So everything on my sketch fits on one screen. Or I can click the down arrow and select the zoom tool. Now my cursor has changed to be an arrow. Now if I click and move up, I zoom out. If I click and hold the mouse and pull back, I zoom in. So click and hold, pull back to zoom out. Okay. I can also take the hand tool, which is pan, and I can move it around. If I were to click the hand, I can move the sketch around. Okay, so let's go back to dimension. I have to dimension one more side, so let's review. One dimension. Now that I have the dimension tool, any line that I hover over will highlight. I click once on the line, click, I don't click and hold, I just click, pull out to pull the dimension out, click again to set the dimension, and then double click the number so that I can edit the number of the dimension. I'm going to put in 2 inches, so I put the number 2. I have to leave the space IN in there so it knows it's inches. I click the green check mark, then the rectangle will pop open to be exactly 2 inches high. Now the rectangle, the program already knows that a rectangle has 2 sides of equal length. So this side and this side will automatically be of equal length. So the program will maintain that rectangle shape. As a result, I only have to dimension 2 of the sides, not all 4. So this is all we're going to do for our very first sketch. So now we're going to save the sketch. Remember, we have to save it in order to upload it and turn it in, or turn it in, any way that your teacher says. If you have Moodle available, you should upload it to Moodle at this point. So to save the sketch, we're going to go up to the top again, right where we created the new sketch. We're going to go over to this little save icon. This is a floppy disk. You've never seen one, but that's the icon for save. We click on the save icon, and we get a warning. You cannot save Part 7 in sketch mode. Would you like to exit sketch mode and continue saving? I would, so I click OK. Now it opens up a save dialog. So I'm in my Documents folder. It opens up automatically to Documents. Now I don't want to just throw this into my Documents folder, so I create a new folder, and I'm going to name it Mr. Carmody. I click off. Then I'm going to double click on Mr. Carmody to open. I right clicked and did select because it didn't open automatically. Now I'm going to give my part a name. I'm going to name this part Mr. Carmody _ rectangle. Okay, so my part is done. I save my part. I click save. It saves. Now let's go look at it in our file system. I go down to my folder, I go to my Documents, and I go to my Mr. Carmody folder, and this is where I would go in Moodle to upload it, or if I'm turning it in another way, this is where I would go to turn it in. Okay, give it a shot. When you're finished, upload the file to turn it in.